What's up, guys? Papa Cabo here. I know it's been a while since I put one of these out for you guys. It's a lot's been going on. I've been working on my commissions. Trying to keep it going. The storm, as they say, has not yet passed, but I've seen some spots of sunlight here and there. So I feel like much like the rest of the world, we might be coming out of this haze. I think I'm maybe starting to come out of this a little bit, maybe see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel on this. I want to keep it on this one kind of short and sweet and simple. I want to talk about something very specific. Um, I want to talk about the cost of buying art. Over the last couple months, like I said, I've been working on some commissions trying to get this thing going. And one of the things that, comes up in the process of trying to sell art is the price. There's so many issues behind the price, people pricing their art at too cheap, and people who price their art astronomical prices. All price of art is that's a hard one to kind of nail down. But what I want to try and nail down is something that I think sort of kind of gets overlooked in the reality of things when it comes to the cost of art. When you buy a piece of art, um, that money, you know what I mean? It still has a relative value. You know what I mean? No matter whether or not that piece of art means something specific to you, like, a portrait of your dog, or whether or not that art is, open to anybody and it's just a picture of a dog. You know what I mean? If you wanted me to paint a picture of your dog, I'm going to paint the picture of your dog. You know what I mean? It's going to mean something to you. Now, when I tell you it's going to cost you $200 for that picture, that money's no object. That's your dog. You know what I mean? That 200 bucks don't mean nothing, right? But if it's a picture of just any old dog, it's going to be kind of hard to justify that $200 to someone that only likes, mini pins. You know what I mean? It's not their mini pin, it's a mini pin. And since it's not their mini pin, well, maybe it's only worth, 50 bucks. You know what I mean? But either way, the reality of it is that whether or not you're spending $200 on a painting or whether or not you're spending $50 on a painting, at some point in time or another, it all breaks down into the cost. What does it actually cost? And so I with some friends many, 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 many years ago when we were, in this art selling project, I brought to the attention of people, like I'm going to bring it to the attention of you, what I like to think of as the cost of art, what it really costs you, you know. For instance, if you were to buy a painting that cost you $365, well, that's easy to figure out what the cost of that painting is, right? Over the course of a year, that painting costs you $1 a day. Do you understand? After that first year, it don't cost you nothing more. If you paid $1 a day to look at that painting, at the end of that year, now it don't cost you nothing else, right? You've already paid your $365 for the painting and you're done, right? But that doesn't mean that the painting disappears, right? The painting is still there. So when you go and look at that painting the next day, it doesn't cost you anything, right? And then the year after that, you still have the painting, right? It doesn't cost you anything. It costs you subsequently less each time for every year you have the painting, right? So let's say, for instance, right? I got some figures here to kind of put it all into perspective, right? If you bought a painting and it cost you $50 for this painting. Well, that breaks down to roughly 13 cents a day. It's like 13 point like 6, 7. It's like almost 14 cents a day for a $50 painting. So subsequently, you double that, right? $100 painting is 27 cents per day. 150, you spend $150 on a piece of art. In a year, you are going to spend 41 cents a day to look at that painting. Now, $200 is going to cost you 54 cents a day to look at that painting for a year. If you spend $200, right? If that painting costs you $200, you're spending 54 cents a day to look at it for the course of a year. Now, over 2 years, that drops, right? To like 26, 27 cents a day. You know what I mean? Something like that, right? 250 is going to cost you 68 cents a day. If you spend $300 on a painting, a year from now, you will have spent 82 cents a day to see it, to look at it. After that year, you don't have to pay no more, right? You already paid for it. I mean, you pay for it up front anyway. I'm just talking about the cost, right? And like I said, the longer you have the painting, the more that number drops, right? $400 is $1.09. We got to spend $400 before we're kicking it really up to like $1 a day. You know, we said 365. So anything over 365 is $1 and some change. $400 is going to cost you $1.09 every day for 365 days for that art. So now you start to see, well, you know what? Really, that's really not that expensive. You know what I mean? $1.09, man, gas ain't even at $1.09. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So now let's start making some bigger jumps here, right? Like $500. You spend $500 on a painting. Now, I have sold many paintings over the years at $500. Now, the thing that you have to understand is that those people that have bought those paintings still have those paintings, right? But for the first year, that $500 painting cost them $1.36 a year. Now, I got some friends that I've sold some $500 painting to, and that's 10 years ago. And what that does is that brings that painting down to 13 cents a day. He's paid to look at that painting for 10 years. That's pennies. Really, that's pennies a day for 10 years to enjoy that beautiful piece of art. I know it seemed like a lot up front, $500, but really now it's 13 cents a day and after 10 years. So we're going to say 750 costs you $2 and a nickel per day, right? That means that $1,000 is going to cost you $2.73 a day. If you spend $1,000 on a painting today, a year from now, you will have only spent $2.73, not even $2.75. You know what I mean? A $1,500 painting, now we get, it's going to cost you $4.10 a day for a $1,500 painting. And a $2,000 painting is going to cost you $5.47. If you spend $2,000 on a painting, it's only going to cost you $5.47 a day for the first year of owning it. That's a coffee every day. You understand? That art is going to do way more for you every day than that coffee could ever do for you. And just, so that you understand that the cost of art is something that diminishes until you actually are making a bank on the painting. Over time, you get to enjoy it the entire time, right? So eventually you start to get to where you spend $50 for a painting, and 5 years from now, you're spending 0.0000000 some shit before it actually costs you any real money. You know what I mean? And so at some point in time, all the hours and effort and energy that one puts into that painting goes for pennies. You know what I mean? But let me flip the script on you here real quick before I jet out. You guys are familiar with the famous artist Basquiat, right? Jean-Michel Basquiat. Back in the day, he was very prolific and painted a lot of paintings and sold quite a few. You know what I mean? One painting he sold in particular was what they say was his first painting. And he sold this painting. I don't have a picture of it, but he sold this painting to Deborah Harry. I don't know if you're familiar with who Deborah Harry is, but she's Blondie. You know, call me, call on the line. I'm not gonna sing it because I ruin it up, mess it up almost every time. Anyway, she bought a painting from him for $200. Two bills. That's it. Two Ben Franklins, two C notes. You know what I mean? $20 bills. Nothing. Nothing. No, nothing. It's $200. You know what I mean? How fast did you spend $200 today? Right? Now here we are, all these years later. Recently, someone purchased a Basquiat painting for $20 million. You understand what I'm saying? 20 million. That's 20 and 6 zeros after that, right? 20 million. So I'm going to go out on a limb and just say we're going to give Deborah Harry 15 million for the painting that she's got, right? She spent $200 for that. Within the first year, she was only spending 54 cents a day for the painting. To own it, it only cost her 54 cents a day for that first year. You understand what I'm saying? And now today, if she was to sell it, she'd probably get 15 million. Do you understand that that's like almost $300,000 per dollar? My math might be off on that one, but I mean, the investment, you understand what I'm saying? She bought some art from her friend for a couple $100 that she liked. And now she could buy half of whatever the hell you got and half of whatever I got and then half of my fucking neighborhood for fucking 15 million. You know what I mean? So on some place, I feel like that's something that is part of the struggle of being an artist, is having to justify your price. You know, I've seen some artwork, you know, where I've painted something. I painted a rooster, you know, not too long ago. Here's a picture of a rooster, right? And then I saw it on one of these Facebook groups. This dude, he was selling a rooster, and his rooster, I was figuring my rooster's worth maybe $100. You know what I'm saying? $100, and I'm proud of $100, right? And he put a post of a rooster, and he wanted $5,000. His rooster was on a smaller canvas. It was oil, mine's acrylic, but I know he wasn't using no $5,000 oil paints. You know what I mean? But I mean, hey, I'm not going to tell him that he can or can't price whatever hell he feels like it's worth. You know, it's whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. But let me just say that it costs you to buy. You understand? You're working, you know what I mean? Doing whatever it is that you do. And now you feel like you want to have a painting of your kids, right? And so you're like, hey, let me call up Cavo and see what he's doing. Cavo's like, yeah, sure, man, I'll paint your kids, no problem. You know, normally I charge, you know, X amount of dollars per X amount of dollars per X amount of dollars, depending on the size. And they're like, wow, you know, whew, that's a lot for, you know, some kids. I could just take that money and buy some kids some clothes. Well, part of me feels, honestly, that if the decision is between buying your kids some clothes because they need it and buying some art, well, buy some clothes. I mean, come on, let's be real. Times are tough. I get it. We're all having tough times. So, you know, I think that it's important that you understand what it is when you spend your dollar on some shit, that you know what it is that you're getting. Now, I could tell you honestly that you spend $200 worth of clothes on your kid and they don't need that $200 worth of clothes. Well, that's diminishing values forever, because at some point in time, they're going to outgrow those clothes and you're never going to get anything out of them. You know what I mean? Now you spend $200 on the painting of those kids, that's going to be something they get to talk about 20 years from now, sitting at a Thanksgiving table, laughing and giggling. You know what I mean? Look at that painting. You know what I mean? So there isn't the rub. It's the value. Like I said, if I'm painting your dog, it means everything to you. You know what I mean? If I'm painting a dog, well, it's just a dog, right? But if it's $200 for your dog and $50 for that dog, at some point in time or another, it's about what it costs you. So try to understand that when you are buying art, that ultimately you are buying something that has a great potential to be more valuable later than now. And at some point in time or another, you are going to, in essence, on your investment, be only spending it at points, pennies a day. So buy art, buy lots of art. The Audacity of Art by King Cabo. That's what, heavy is the head to wear the crown in this motherfucker. Check out the new digs. That looks pretty nice. Praise the Lord. Cash App your boy. We accept donations. Thank you, motherfuckers, for watching. Amen.